Welcome to Journey JavaFX. This is the season 2 episode number 21st. Wow, we made this far already. 21 videos. Well, I just got up, finished my lunch, trying to wake up myself. So in this episode, we are going to working on some coloring stuff. So last time we did the style for buttons and labels and the text fields, right? So in this episode, we are going to working on the ListView and also HtmlEditor part. Let's get started. So now I'm gonna do a quick save and run our application. The reason why we cannot do that on in our sim builder, because for now, even if we apply the style to this ListView, but there is no item in it, right? It's kind of only the outer shell. So once we launch our application, all those items will be populated, and in this way you see the color changed. So then we need to apply styles to those inner items, right? To do that, it's pretty simple. Let's go to our sim builder, click on the empty spaces, which gonna select our very root anchor pen. So then on the right hand side, looking for the style sheet. This is the one we applied from previous episode. Click on this little arrow button, say open style sheet, right? This is exactly where we left from last time, to editing this CSS file. So now I'm going to looking for the list view. I just want to keep all the related stuff together. So now how to find the inner items? It's very simple. First, we need to find the list view itself, and then say list cell. That's the official name for those inner items. So instead of here, I'm gonna say FX background color. Let's give it the same value as our universal gray. So now let's take a look at it, do a save, launch our application. Okay, so now those items are populated, right? And all the color kind of merge into our universal gray. But now the problem is, how about we want to apply a darker gray to the highlighted one, right? So in that way, we will have a kind of a more standout of whatever we just select. So let's go back to our CSS file. Under here, I'm gonna say dot list view dot list cell. So this one will be selected, right? All right. So for the selected one, we're gonna use the FX background color, the highlight gray, a little darker. So I'm gonna apply this color instead of it. Let's go test it. Relaunch the application. Oops, I think I clicked the wrong button. Let's do it again. So now when we select one item, you see it's kind of highlighted in this darker gray, but the problem is the text color, right? So now we're gonna fix it. Just add one more line and say FX text field, I believe, because it's kind of inner child, right? So this one, let's say black. Black is okay. Let's relaunch our application and see the effect. Okay, so now whenever we select it, it's kind of highlighted. So how about we apply an even fancier style? Is our kind of buttons, once we hover our mouse over it, it will be colored in pink, right? So we're gonna apply the same style to our list items, and also change the font color into white, right? It's more like this. So let's go back to our style sheet. So this one, I'm gonna say, all right, because the hover happens before selected, right? So I'm gonna put it here, list view dot list cell hover, same idea as the the button controls. So for this one, I'm gonna make a copy paste of this, just change the value of those attributes. So this one gonna be a white font color, right? And our almighty pink, hover this. Oh, I forgot to put this color sign in there. No idea why it worked. Anyway, this is the proper way, because we need a kind of hashtag to indicate is the color value. All right, let's go launch our application and see if it works. So now, okay, all right. When I click on it, it's highlighted. Otherwise, it will be kind of, once we hover on it, it's kind of, yeah, it's cool. So now we're gonna fix this kind of HTML editor thing. You know, I talked about this HTML editor before. It's kind of a collection of all those ordinary controls available in JavaFX, right? So then it's more like this whole thing is a combination of buttons and whatever, right? So for this kind of a toolbar, it's actually the same toolbar we can find in our, you know, regular controls. But once we're looking for a toolbar, you can see we have a toolbar control, right? So this part, the background of those items, of those buttons or whatever, is no difference from this toolbar, right? Which means we're gonna do something like this. We already have the HTML editor defined with its own ID, right? So I'm going to use the trick again. HTML editor, HTML, this is the name for that control, right? So inside of that, I'm going to looking for toolbar. So in this way, we are looking for this specific editor and then the toolbar control inside of it, right? So inside of here, I'm gonna just copy paste this part and then do a save. So now I'm expecting the color changed to our universal grid. All right, you see now the color changed. It's more like all of them are in one piece, right? For those individual buttons, I think it's okay to leave them there. We don't need to, you know, change them all into kind of this kind of thing. But I believe, you know, those are the similar idea, but I need more time to figure out what exactly they are. Then, you know, we can apply the style. But so far, I think it's kind of, you know, acceptable. And then the next thing we need to fix is this kind of white color like area. The nature of this part is actually a web view control inside of this HTML editor control. So by call it web view, basically it's just a HTML render tool, right? We have the raw HTML behind the screen, and this web view will render it into whatever the thing, you know, our content with all the styles, right? So first we need to find out what exactly behind this view for now. Even though it looks like blank, I'm pretty sure there is something there. So now what I'm gonna do is this, sp out, find this HTML control dot get HTML text. Let's see what it looks like. So now I'm gonna click on test. It's gonna return me this part. And let's go back to our notepad, copy paste it. You see, this is the basic kind of, you know, HTML stuff. To apply a background color to the page, what we're gonna do is insert a style attributes inside of the body opener part, body tag opening part. So I'm gonna say style equal to double quote. So in this one, I'm gonna say background color colon. Let's say our gray, right? Just look it up. This one. Yeah, paste it in. Semicolon. So now it should be okay. Let's test it by set HTML editor.set text, right? So we're gonna paste it in and relaunch the application. click on test. All right, so now it's kind of merged into one piece, right? And to push it a little further, you know, we apply a universal font family for all those characters show up on our interface as consoles, right? So how about we apply the same font to our editor part? To do that, it's quite simple. Just around here, I'm gonna say font family. Let's say consoles, right? That's it. Copy paste it. Maybe just to give them more space. Yeah, something like this. Nicer. Okay. Let's replace this whole thing. So now do a save, launch the application. So we should have that console's default font. Okay. Yeah, it's already showing like, you know, consoles. Okay, so now I think we finished most of the style for the purpose of this episode. But now I'm going to do some rearrangement about all the other controls and also give the you know, special color for the different buttons. So now I'm gonna go back. Oh, just one more thing I want to show you. Just go back to our sim builder, click on this web editor. When you click on it, you can see here HTML tags, right? So this part will be exactly same as the one we just extract from, you know, from the what's it called? From the method, right? Like this part. So here is a little trick. Basically, we can just replace this part with our kind of, you know, template or the HTML template. But what I'm going to do is different. I'm gonna put it into our HTML initializer thing. HTML, we don't have it yet. The view list, okay. All right, let's create a new one. Let's say public void HTML editor HTML initializer. Okay, so in this way we will always have this kind of thing. Oops, I'm gonna say HTML editor dot set, right? So in this way it will be automatically applied every single time, right? So I'm gonna add this part to our initializer or the refresh button. Where is it? Here. Because the refresh button will do all those kind of stuff for us, right? And yeah, let's launch the application. We should have the whole thing looks like in one piece for now. All right, looks great, right? We have all the styles. Cool. By default, you know, this list view will receive the same style as this one because we haven't touched it yet, which we're gonna do it today. So yeah, later on we can see the video effect will be applied automatically. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to rearrange all the stuff. You know, it's more like let's put it here and put a delete right over here and a save button somewhere here. And then I'm gonna ungroup this whole thing because I want to make them slightly, you know, in the same position. Well, this part may look a little boring. If you want, you can skip it. It's just, you know, making our thing into a better layout. Nothing more than that. Feel free to you know, go to my next episode. So this is the title, this is the tag, it's okay. Here's the date, it's alright. I'm gonna drop it here. And then change the color for all of them. The title one could be longer. Let's make this part a little taller and this one a little taller. Okay. Yeah. Somewhere here is fine. And also I'm gonna increase the font of this. I think I have ID for it, right? Yeah. Let me go back to this style sheet. So pen. All right. Let's say label logo, I think. So let's say FX background color. Let's give it a black, and then FX font color. Go to white. Do a save. Go back, see. Oh, I believe it's text field again. Yeah, text field. Okay. Yeah, and then just the size, right? And also FX font weight. Let's give it a bold, and then FX font size. Let's say, I don't know, 30. Yeah, let's make it a little shorter. It's just too big. Yeah, it's just too big, you know. For the refresh button, usually I prefer it on top. And yeah, the hours is okay. The tag one can be longer. This is the rocker buttons. Sorry about that. And for these two, I want to make them slightly smaller. So this one, I'm gonna give it ID, btn plus, and this one I'm gonna say btn minus. Go back to our style sheet, the buttons, right? So individual style, btn plus, and yeah. So instead of here, I'm gonna say fx scale x. Let's give it point, I don't know, 0.8, slightly smaller, and fx scale y. Let's give it 0.8. I'm gonna make a copy of this section for the minus button. Okay, so minus. Okay, let's go back, see. Yeah, they're smaller. And then we're gonna do the coloring for them. So this one I'm gonna move it. Oops. Sometimes it's a little tricky to select them. Let's make a little more room. Okay. It's still too tall. Hbox. Let me just unwrap it and wrap them into a VBox. Okay, now make more sense. All right, and then make it. Oops. What I just did. No, probably I'm gonna set it manually. The layout, gave it 200. Okay, perfect. Leave it like this for now. For the refresh and save green button, the green color is okay. For the follow, I want to make it, let's say btn follow. I want to make it into a Twitter blue. Okay, I'm gonna say btn follow. So fx background color, what's our Twitter blue? Okay, okay. Let me just make it slightly easier because I don't want to keep going up and down for, you know, all the color palette stuff. Now let's try it. Do a save. Go back. Yeah, it becomes that. But it may have issue because we override this from our universal rule. Let's test it. Okay, but it's not turning pink while we are hovering, right? So we need to add one more thing, like this. follow hover. So then this we're gonna need this pink color. It's kind of it goes in. I believe this part will be copy paste for all of the buttons. Yeah, let's add them now. So btn plus paste it. Okay, this is the hover, right? And then the minus btn minus hover. We paste it, close it, right? The follow. Okay, now we have the perfect kind of pairs. Okay, so that's the background, that's the hover. Okay, then we're gonna say the plus. The plus we're gonna use Google Green. So let's say scale, and then FX background color. Let's use the Google Green. This one's slightly different, not big different, but yeah, we plug it in, and then the minus sign, we're gonna say FX color. We're gonna use the Google yellow. All right, let's use the Google yellow. So now we have those, button hover, background color change, and all the stuff. Let's do a test in the application itself. Okay, so the follow is changing color, is good. And this oh, probably I made a mistake. This one should be a Google Green. The plus, this one, Google Green. Oh, here. Probably I copy paste the wrong value. Okay. Background color Google Green. Color. This one should be pink. Okay, let's run the application again. Okay, why the plus is still pink? It should be green. Maybe something wrong I did over here. Oh, that's why I lost the Google Green. All right, then just we use a simple green. The editor, the plus sign, background color, I'm gonna say green. Okay. Relaunch. What? The mistake is ugly. Okay, the plus. Mine's green. Hover. Sorry about that. I totally make them in the opposite way. Okay, now we fix it. Yeah. Perfect. Then let's change the color of delete. Delete, we have ID, btn, delete. Do a save. Let's go back here. Yep, I'm gonna copy paste this part. It's very important to have a template. Delete, btn, delete, hover. For this one, I want to change the color to black in normal state. Let's do a retesting. All right, the delete works fine. The save, test. All right, I think we finished most of the. Okay, the rocker should be around here, right? Instead of the line to hour. So this one I'm gonna make it slightly smaller. So yeah, the best is using this. Let's say 50 because we are not expecting a big one. And for the hour, let's make it a 50 again. And then let's merge the whole thing. Let's drop it inside of it. right? And select the group. Spacing, let's give them a 10. And then the alignment, let's say center. Perfect. Now they are kind of aligned, right? Okay, so now they are in the same line. And then what else? Date. Well, the date part, we can erase it because we don't actually need this kind of date, because there is already a date picker thing, right? Just trying to make the whole thing. Let's make this one even wider. Let's say 400. The height is computed. Yeah, and then the tag can be moved a little bit down. And then this save button. So now we can give more room to this editor, right? Okay, let's move it a little up. So this two going up. Okay, and also I want to do one more thing. For this ID, right? I'm gonna give it a text field ID and a text field folder, right? I want to give them a darker gray color because, you know, those two boxes are never manually, you know, input value. So then I'm gonna say text field ID, right? And I'm gonna give it a background color, FX background color, the darker gray, this one. The reason is more like, you know, indicating this field is locked. It's not for, you know, manually to enter stuff inside of it. Folder. So now let's take a final look. I think we finished all the kind of design stuff. Yep, they are all become darker. Perfect. I think we are ready to move on. This one, the width 50. Yeah. Why it looks slightly wider in the application? That's pretty weird. Anyway, so far so good. All right, we're gonna see you in the next one. We're gonna working on a few. Yeah, we're gonna work on this part, the folder part, because we already have the capability to insert data, right? So we're gonna add one more function to let our application to manage its own subfolder. All right, see you in the next.